Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today we're going to install the GatorTrax retractable cover on this 2009 and up body style Ram pickup. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so now this is exactly the way it's coming out of the box. First thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and remove some of the packaging material. So we've got a bracket that holds the cover tight to the canister itself. We're going to take the screw out that holds that bracket in place. You're just using a Phillips head screwdriver to take that out. Once you take this side out, you also want to take out the screw on the other side that helps you to pull both brackets out. All right, now we can go ahead and lift the cover, pull the bracket out. All right, now one of these brackets that you take out, you're going to want to hold on to because this end of that bracket we're actually going to use as a spacer tool later on in the install. So we're going to set that to the side. Next, we're going to go ahead and remove the coil. This goes through the coil. That just needs to be pulled out like so. And we discard that. Now we want to go ahead and attach the rails to the canister. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I went ahead and grabbed the driver's side rail. Now the outside of the rail is going to be flat. The inside of the rail has a channel that the cover rolls through. The squared end and the end with a hole on the top of the channel, that goes towards the cab of the truck. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up to the driver's side of the canister, and then we're going to slide the cover into the channel, then line up these two holes down the bottom to these two holes on the canister. All right, now before we start to line this up, we're also going to want to go ahead and open up the cover. That way we can slide the rail in place. Next, we're going to use the provided screws and screw the canister to the rails, using a Phillips head screwdriver for that. We'll repeat this step on the passenger side as well. All right, now we're going to go ahead and finish assembling the cover by putting on the canister cover. What we're going to do first is on each side we're going to peel away the protective plastic, and we're going to reveal a threaded hole in the top of the canister cover. Now you want to make sure you have this aligned properly so you get kind of the triangular shape. Down here the rubber flap is actually going to point away from the cover towards the cab of the truck. What we're going to do is we're going to line that up to our rails, right to the tracks of the rails, and slide it right in from the front end of the canister, from the front end of the cover, line up the holes in the tracks, the holes in the canister cover itself. Next, we're going to use some provided Allen head screws with the provided Allen wrench, and we're going to connect them together right here. And tighten them down on both sides. Next, you're going to want to employ a buddy to help you get the cover up on the truck. Get it set into place, and also make sure your rubber flap in the front is facing towards the cab and sitting on top of your bulkhead. All right, next what we're going to want to do is close the tailgate up against the cover. Be very careful. If the cover's too far back, you want to make sure you don't slam the tailgate into the cover. But what we're going to do is make sure the rail is 1/8 of an inch away from the tailgate cap. So we're going to go ahead and take our bracket. This was our shipping canister bracket, and we're going to use this end of it right here as a spacer tool. We're going to fit it right in place. And we're going to slide the rail where it touches the spacer tool. And do that on both sides. All right, next we're going to go ahead and install the clamps. What we're going to do is spread the clamps apart, and we're going to put them in between our spacer screws. Now the spacer screws are what we're going to use to adjust the cover if it needs to be adjusted. Go ahead and put this in hand tight first. Now as I tighten it down, I also want to hold the rail down to where the seal on the back of the cover is really close to the tailgate. And I'm going to go ahead and tighten down that clamp. All All right, the front clamp gets installed the exact same way, also in between the spacer screws. We're going to go ahead and repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now before we install our drain tubes, I went ahead and removed the protective film that covers the canister. Now I want to draw your attention to this tow hook on the Ram. This is right next to the bulkhead. In between the tow hook and the bulkhead on the bed, there's a little plastic plug. If you pull that away, you've got a perfect little hole to run your drain tube. And once that drain tube is in position, we're going to go ahead and put the rubber washer on the end of the drain tube spout and pop it in place on the canister. Repeat the same process on both sides. All right, next what I'm going to do is go ahead and measure 3 spots on the bed. I'm going to measure between the rails where the screws are that hold the canister cover to the rails. I'm going to measure at the first clamp location, and then at the rear clamp location, make sure everything is the same, and they are. Now, if I need to do any kind of adjustment, these 2 clamp locations can be adjusted with the adjustment screws. Turning those screws in brings the rail in closer to the bed, and turning them out pushes it out away from the inside of the bed. You want to make sure that both these rails are perfectly parallel, and also the same distance between this rail and the bed cap at each location is the same on both sides. And you don't want to have any more than 1/4 inch total play side to side when you slide the cover back and forth inside the rails. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.